No, it's not milk. And no, it's not a calcium supplement either. There's one simple food, found in almost every grocery store, that when eaten at 6 p.m. can help rebuild bone density, improve mobility, and drastically reduce your risk of fractures after 60. The science behind it? Surprisingly strong. And yet most seniors have never even heard of this bone-saving secret. Let's break the myth that aging bones are doomed to crumble, starting tonight, with your dinner plate. Let's clear something up right away. Bone loss after 60 isn't just about calcium deficiency. In fact, many seniors who take calcium supplements daily still end up with fractures, brittle joints, and DEXA scans that keep getting worse. So what's really going on? The truth is, bone loss after 60 is a silent, complex process, and calcium is only one piece of the puzzle. After menopause or andropause, our bones lose density because the body shifts into a low-grade catabolic state. Translation? Your body starts breaking down more bone than it rebuilds, and unless you give it the right building blocks at the right time, you slowly lose the very structure holding you upright. This condition has a name. It's called osteopenia when it starts, and osteoporosis when it gets serious. But unlike a sudden disease, this isn't something you catch. It's something that creeps in day by day. One skipped nutrient, one missed opportunity to rebuild. Now here's where it gets interesting. Bones, just like muscles, go through something called remodeling, breaking down old cells and replacing them with new ones. But after 60, that remodeling process slows down dramatically. So if you're not sending a clear signal to your bones, hey, it's time to rebuild, they quietly shrink, weaken, and hollow out. And guess what doesn't send that signal on its own? Calcium supplements. In fact, in multiple long-term studies, calcium alone has shown limited impact on fracture reduction, especially in seniors who aren't eating optimally or exercising regularly. Why? Because your body needs much more than minerals. It needs anabolic nutrition timing, specific protein signals, vitamin cofactors, and stimuli that tell the bones to rebuild, not just stay put. This is why some seniors still break a hip while on daily calcium. It's not about how much you consume, it's about what your bones do with it. And here's the kicker. Recent research shows that one specific nutrient, when consumed in the evening around 6 p.m., can dramatically increase your body's ability to rebuild bone tissue overnight. It's not a supplement. It's not a pill. It's real food. And when timed correctly, it can activate the exact cascade of biological events your bones need to grow stronger, even in your 70s or 80s. So before you reach for another calcium tablet, let's talk about what actually rebuilds fragile bones and how you can make one simple shift tonight that could make all the difference. There's a reason we chose 6 p.m., and it's not random. See, your body has a hidden rhythm, a biological clock that controls when it's more likely to build and when it tends to break down. And believe it or not, your bones listen to that clock too. In the early evening, especially after light physical movement or a walk, your body enters a metabolic state that's primed for rebuilding. That's when your cells are most receptive to absorbing the nutrients that trigger bone formation, not just maintenance. Now here's the surprise. The most powerful nutrient for bone regeneration after 60 is not calcium. It's not magnesium. It's not even vitamin D. It's protein. And more specifically, collagen-rich, amino acid-dense protein consumed in the early evening window. Why? Because bones aren't just made of minerals. They're made of a living matrix, a scaffold of collagen that minerals like calcium attach to. Without that collagen, calcium has nowhere to go. Think of your bones like reinforced concrete. Calcium is the cement, but protein, especially collagen protein, is the steel rebar that gives them structure, flexibility, and strength. And after 60, your body starts producing far less of it on its own. That's why scientists are now focusing on evening protein timing, not just quantity, because the window between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. is when your bone turnover process begins to shift gears. Feeding your body the right protein, then, gives it ammunition to rebuild while you sleep. One of the best choices? A small serving of bone broth, collagen peptides in water, or slow-digesting dairy proteins like cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. These are rich in glycine, proline, hydroxyproline, and other amino acids that specifically fuel osteoblasts, the bone-building cells. In fact, in a 2021 clinical study, seniors who consumed 10 to 15 grams of collagen-rich protein in the evening gained measurable bone density over 6 months, without any increase in calcium intake. The effect was magnified when combined with resistance exercise and vitamin D. Even more surprising, the group that relied solely on calcium supplements saw no significant change in bone density, even though they believed they were doing the right thing. This is the moment most people realize we've been approaching bone health backward. It's not about flooding the body with minerals. It's about giving it the biological signals to rebuild. And protein, eaten at the right time, is that signal. So tonight, instead of reaching for a calcium chew, consider a small bowl of warm collagen-rich soup, or a scoop of unflavored collagen peptides stirred into tea. It may not sound glamorous, but inside your body, it's activating the very process that strengthens your skeleton from the inside out. And that's just the beginning. Because if you pair this with the right cofactors, like vitamin K2, magnesium, and a little movement, the results can be nothing short of life-changing. Let's say this clearly. Calcium is not the villain. It's absolutely essential. Your bones are made of it. Your heart, muscles, and nerves rely on it every minute. But when it comes to rebuilding fragile bones after 60, calcium alone just doesn't cut it. You've probably seen the ads, "Take your calcium every day to prevent fractures." But if calcium was the answer, why do so many seniors who supplement daily still end up with broken hips, vertebrae collapses, and shrinking spines? The answer lies in what your body does with calcium and what it needs alongside it. Here's the part that's often ignored. Calcium can't build bone by itself. It needs to be absorbed, directed, and attached to a living bone matrix, a job that requires other nutrients, hormonal signals, and cellular cooperation. Let's break that down. First, calcium absorption. If you're low in vitamin D, your body struggles to absorb calcium from your food or supplements. No D, no absorption. And guess what most people over 60 are deficient in, especially in winter? Exactly. Second, calcium needs a guide. And that's where vitamin K2 comes in. K2 is the unsung hero that tells calcium where to go. It literally escorts it into your bones and keeps it out of your arteries. Without it, calcium can end up in all the wrong places, like blood vessels, joints, and soft tissue, increasing your risk of arterial stiffness and even heart issues. That's why some studies show that high calcium intake without K2 can actually raise health risks in older adults. It's not because calcium is dangerous, it's because it's being misdirected. Now here's the kicker. Even if calcium is absorbed and guided correctly, your body still needs a living scaffold to attach it to, and that's where protein, specifically collagen-based protein, plays its irreplaceable role. Imagine calcium as bricks, but if you don't have a frame to lay those bricks on, what happens? They pile up randomly or get discarded. That's exactly what happens inside your bones when there's no collagen matrix to bind them to. This is why seniors who take calcium supplements often show no change in fracture risk unless they're also consuming enough protein, getting resistance exercise, and maintaining adequate vitamin D and K2 levels. Even worse, some are unknowingly fueling calcification in the wrong places, hardening their arteries instead of hardening their bones. But here's the good news. When you stack calcium with collagen, K2, magnesium, and protein timing, something incredible happens. Your bones don't just slow their breakdown, they start to rebuild. Stronger, denser, more flexible. And that's the kind of bone health that doesn't just look good on a scan. It helps you stand taller, walk steadier, and live longer without fear of falling. So no, calcium is not enough. But with the right partners at the right time, it becomes part of a powerful bone-building orchestra that can keep you standing strong well into your 80s and 90s. Here's where it all comes together. Your 6 p.m. bone-building ritual. This isn't a gimmick. It's a carefully timed set of habits that work with your body's natural rhythm to rebuild fragile bones. Overnight. Think of this like giving your bones a bedtime construction crew. All the right tools, all in the right place. Ready to go while you sleep. Step 1. Protein. Specifically, collagen-rich protein. That could mean a warm cup of homemade bone broth, a scoop of collagen peptides in warm herbal tea, or even a small bowl of low-fat cottage cheese with some cinnamon. These options are rich in the amino acids your bones use to build structure: glycine, proline, lysine, and hydroxyproline. If you're going the supplement route, hydrolyzed collagen peptides or myelin casein protein work wonders. They digest slowly and release amino acids all night long, keeping your bones in a low-grade anabolic state instead of breaking down tissue while you sleep. Step 2. Vitamin K2. Without it, calcium doesn't know where to go. You can get K2 naturally from fermented foods like natto, aged cheeses, or from a K2-specific supplement, especially the MK7 form, which stays active in the body longer. Step 3. Magnesium. It's the mineral that helps activate vitamin D, and it keeps calcium from forming sharp crystals that weaken bone over time. Evening is the perfect time for magnesium-rich foods like pumpkin seeds, spinach, or a small square of dark chocolate. Step 4. Movement. Nothing intense. Just a 15-minute post-dinner walk or some light resistance work, using your body weight, resistance bands, or soup cans if that's all you have. This sends a mechanical signal to your bones. We need you strong tomorrow. That's when the magic happens. You've primed your bones with pressure, and now you're feeding them the tools they need to rebuild. Step 5. Hydration and sleep hygiene. Drink a small glass of water or a magnesium-rich tea like chamomile or lemon balm, both calming and mineral-rich. Then dim the lights, reduce screen time, and make sure you're asleep by 10 or 10:30 if possible. That's when your body enters its deepest recovery mode, when bone regeneration, hormone release, and cell repair peak. You don't need fancy supplements or a brand new diet. You just need a targeted ritual, something you can repeat nightly that sends a message to your body. It's time to rebuild. Because the truth is, your bones are always listening. Every walk, every meal, every bite of collagen or sip of herbal tea, it all adds up. And the most powerful results come not from giant overhauls, but from stacking small habits that reinforce each other day after day, night after night. And this 6 p.m. stack? It's one of the highest leverage changes you can make, one that doesn't just slow decline, it pushes your health forward even while you sleep. Bone health is invisible until it's not. You can't look in the mirror and see your bones rebuilding. There's no instant feedback like sore muscles after a workout or weight changes on a scale. But if you listen closely, your body will tell you when things are improving, and the signs might be more subtle than you think. One of the first things many people notice, they stand taller. Not dramatically, but gradually. That slight stoop or rounding in the shoulders, it begins to reverse. Why? Because stronger bones support better posture. Your spine regains the firmness to stack upright, and your muscles don't have to overcompensate for weak structure. That means your back doesn't ache as much, especially after standing or walking for longer periods. What used to feel like compression or stiffness at the end of the day starts to fade, because your vertebrae are getting more support from the inside out. Next, you may feel stronger on your feet. That small wobble when stepping off a curb, it's gone. Your balance improves, not just because your bones are stronger, but because the bones are sending better signals to your muscles and joints. Bones aren't just scaffolding, they're alive, communicating with your entire body. And when they feel secure, you feel secure. Another subtle change? Faster recovery from little bumps and bruises. Maybe you stub your toe or bump your shin. Weeks ago, that might have throbbed for days. Now it heals faster, because better bone health often comes with improved circulation, reduced inflammation, and a more responsive immune system. You might also notice your nails hardening, your hair feeling stronger, or even your teeth feeling more secure. That's no accident. Your body distributes nutrients system-wide, and as your mineral reserves replenish and your collagen matrix strengthens, you'll feel that resilience in more than just your skeleton. And then, something almost magical happens. You move with more confidence. You stop bracing yourself as you get out of a chair. You reach for that top shelf without hesitation. You catch yourself mid-step instead of stumbling. These aren't just nice changes. They're the early signs of functional independence, the kind that translates into more years of doing the things you love, on your own terms. And while it might take months to see a change on a bone scan, or to hear your doctor say, your density's improved, your body already knows, because every night you stack those habits. Every time you reach for protein instead of a sugar snack at 6 p.m., every time you take that short walk, sip that magnesium tea, or stir that collagen into warm water, you're not just feeding your bones. You're feeding a future version of yourself, one that walks taller, feels stronger, and stays free. And that future starts with tiny signals, the kind you can feel, even if no one else sees them yet. Picture this. It's late evening. The house is quiet. You're standing at your kitchen counter. No distractions, no noise, just you and one small decision. A scoop of collagen in warm tea, a bowl of cottage cheese, a short stretch before bed, a deep breath, a signal to your bones. Not tonight. Tonight, we build. It doesn't feel dramatic, but that's what makes it powerful, because this isn't about chasing youth. It's about protecting the strength that lets you keep living your life, walking the dog, picking up your grandkids, climbing stairs without gripping the railing. It's about putting deposits back into the bone bank that life slowly withdraws from. And most people don't realize it until it's too late, until they fall, until they're stuck in a hospital bed, until they hear the word fracture, and everything changes. But you have time. And all it takes is one small choice each night, repeated. Because here's what we now know. Bones aren't just things you inherit. They're things you shape, repair, and rebuild every single day and every single night, with protein, with movement, with minerals, with sleep, and with consistency. This is not a short-term fix. It's a long game, a quiet revolution that happens while the world is sleeping. And maybe one day, without even thinking about it, you'll realize you didn't need help standing up from the couch. You climbed that hill without stopping to catch your breath. You slipped on ice and didn't break. You bent down to tie your shoe and came right back up. No crack, no collapse, just control. And you'll know it was this habit, that cup of collagen, that 6 p.m. decision, that small act of self-respect repeated until it became unshakable strength. Most people wait until something breaks before they act, but not you, because now you understand. The best time to build bones was yesterday. The second best time is tonight.